Mm-mm-mm. Hello, I'm here showing up. Okay, go. So today is like my first day, like on my balcony in my new apartment, and it's kind of nice. I feel like royalty up here. I would want to come out here like once there's a lot of activity. I just found the dog that keeps shitting in my yard. He's cute. I just don't understand why people don't pick up their dog shit. Like I don't get that. But um mm, I just kinda want to talk about I hope you guys can hear me too. But I kinda want to just talk about how just showing up like makes a world of a difference when it comes to your life. And I guess it's just like a shared story, um yeah, it's just like a shared I guess I'm just sharing a story about what it was like, what happened when I started showing up for myself. But before we get into that, you guys, I cut my hair maybe a year or two ago, and it is growing back like crazy. But the thing is, the way that my hair is growing back is so textured, like it's way thicker than what I remember. But maybe it's just like extremely dry as well. So I'm gonna have to work on that. But I did the whole add the water into your eco styler to get more. You definitely get more gel, but it does not hold anything. So I would just say round up your little $6 or whatever and get you some more. But yes, just showing up sometimes is just enough to really see a change in your life. And um, basically, that was something that I had to learn because there was a point in my life where I just started to, I guess, give up hope. Yeah. And on my Instagram, I'm sure I have a video where I talk about hope and things like that. Um, but I really just started to give up hope because I just feel like a lot of the people around us, society, it can really start to seem as though you are lonely or you don't have as much support. Um, just because other people they don't see your dream, they don't see what you imagine. And every time that I stopped, um, there are instances where you have to, there are instances where you have to, um, break ties with people because, like, just like a negative influence in your life. Then there's times where, like, just because someone can't see your vision doesn't mean that you need to break the relationship between each one of you guys. Sometimes those are indications. But what I've been learning over time is like anytime that I felt like I didn't have enough support or people didn't see my vision, I wasn't showing up in the ways that I could have. And sometimes a lot of people, like, they got to see it to believe it, right? And then sometimes it's like you, as the person, as the creator, you have to show that you have to show confidence in what you're doing. So a lot of times when we lack confidence with ourselves, it's really hard for other people to trust or have confidence in your vision. So just by showing up for yourself every day in the capacity that you can for the things that you want and desire in your life will create a really big difference. For example, Um, like for example, early on in my life, I just recognized like um, I recognize. Hold on, I can't really talk when people just staring at me. That's my talking manager. Getting a little warm out here in these Houston streets. Getting a little warm. But and then there's like something flying. Ah, go away, fly. Go away, please. I'm not in the mood. Please go. Thank you. Um, but what I was getting at was there was a time in my life where I just felt like people didn't understand how I felt. People didn't understand. Um, they just didn't understand like, and it's just crazy like reflecting, you know, like just by me showing up here, I get a lot of healing and a lot of epiphanies come to me. But yeah, there was a point in my life where I just felt like, man, people don't understand who I am or like my story or what I see for myself. I remember people really used to see me as someone who was just nonchalant, who didn't care about a lot of things. And for me, it was never that I didn't care about things. It was more the fact that I didn't care about some of the things that they cared about, you know? And what I started to understand is that um, I wasn't showing up for myself in a matter of even exposing myself to people who would understand me. I didn't go out, I didn't try to make new friends. I just kept whining and crying about how the people around me just didn't understand. And a lot of times when we see those things, we have to show up for ourselves. And how we show up for ourselves is by creating new friendships, understanding that sometimes we do outgrow things. Sometimes our interests no longer align with certain relationships. And that's okay, you know? But don't just sit there and give up and say you don't have friends and you're lonely. Continuously be your own friend. Show up for yourself. Um, there's so many people that talk about how like they have terrible friends and like they don't even look. Let me see. Am I lagging? Damn. Okay, it's a little better. But so many of us talk about how like our friends don't show up for us or part times, like I said earlier, these are indications you are not showing up for yourself, you know? sometimes ourselves don't, they're not willing to accept um, any love or affection from other people because, oh, okay, I think we're back. I am literally melting out here, but I need the vitamin D. But what I was getting at, um, a lot of times when we see lack within our relationships, it's because it's coming from within. Relationships are only mirrors and reflections of who we are on the inside. So, with that being said, show up for yourself. Just by showing up for yourself, you start to see a change, even spiritually. Like it's like a sauna in this moment. I love it, but it's just hot. You know, it's probably like reminding me of my Texas State days when I would literally sunbathe, you guys. I did not care. I wanted my melanin to be popping. I wanted to be the dark chocolate goddess that I am. So I guess I'm getting a remembrance of that. It's probably impossible, but I feel the more changes I saw within my relationships, the progress that I see within my life, and the progress that I see within myself. Um, there was a point in my spiritual journey where I honestly felt like I could not hear the voice of God. I didn't know what that was or what it looked like or what it sounded like. And those days were the days that I felt like absolutely lonely. And so I started to see that come. And so over a course of time, with consistently showing up, and you can't always be. For me, my spiritual journey has been pretty rocky because I always knew who God was. I always knew that I was more than just this physical being, but it was just the communication. The connection was not there. And so I had to build that connection. And, over time, with rebellion, with loss, with hurt, you go through that relationship with God. And so 2020, when we all had to sit our ass down, I I made sure to make time with God as frequently as possible. It wasn't necessarily scheduled or anything. It was just when I felt that I needed that connection. And during those times, I needed that connection like a lot, a lot, a lot. And so over these 2 years, building this really strong connection through numbers and synchronicities and um, just taking the time to be silent and look around and see like what is really trying to communicate with me, but I'm too distracted to focus. So that's where meditation came in. And um, as I continue to just show up in these spaces, ooh, a break. That feels good. I look a mess. Like, Lord, please. I need to find out what I'm gonna do with my hair. I hate how my hair looks. Um, but I'm so grateful that it's growing and it's being healthy. And I'm grateful for how thick and how long it's going to be. So um, I don't want to complain too much, but we all know we have our physical preferences, and this is just not it for me. Okay. But anyways, So as I started to come into these spaces of being present with God, I started to hear God's voice more and more. But at first, it seemed as though He just spoke through, Spirit spoke to me through numbers and synchronicities and other people. And so then there came a point in my journey where I had to ask God, like, all right, I want to hear from you directly. Like, yeah, like I want to hear from you directly. Like, what is, I don't want to um, always decode you. It's kind of like what I was telling Spirit. Like, yeah, I don't want to always decode you. Like, speak to me, you know? And um, that started to happen through prayer. So a lot of times I would write my question or, you know, just reflect. And then after I wake up, once I woke up, it seemed like I had clarity. And so as I continue to be on my journey with spirit, um, I've incorporated other divination tools that allows me to be able to speak with spirit um, even more consistently, and that's through tarot. And like my journey has always been self-taught. It has really been directed by like my ancestors and just the things that I'm interested in. And as I explored that, it seems as though just by showing up, like I got a deck of tarot cards. I definitely studied them. I used to, um, yeah, so I definitely studied them and things like that. And once I asked God, I'm like, listen, like I want to have direct communication with you, um, like a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? And we have intuition and things like that. So I'm not saying that only through these tools can I communicate with spirit, but I mean, I don't know how to explain it. If you know, you know, right? That's the new dismissal for any other questions or when people are tired of explaining. If you know, you know, right? But so over the years, as I got acquainted with how God spoke with me, as I got acquainted with hearing from God directly, and when I got it, it was um the messages they would come, but sometimes like I didn't fully understand. Like, and this is where clarity comes in. Because in order for you to some sort of clarity that you are, and so as I started on the messages that I was receiving through, it started to become easy. It just started to flow, right? Readings like just for myself and stuff, like, you're very limited on how far you can go. So yesterday I heard Spirit say, um, take a moment to connect. Um, and actually, it was really more. It was like take a moment to connect, and it was like um, show up. Take a moment to connect, show up. And so I'm like, I'm about to go to like I was about to go to sleep and stuff, and I'm like, wait, you want me to you need me to connect? Like, is there a message that you're needing me to connect with? And I just felt this like feeling to just get the cards. So I grabbed the cards and I start shuffling, and these, the cards come out, and I read them, and I'm just like, I'm not like, sometimes I'll get messages, but I don't always know like the time frame, because time is really subjective. Time doesn't exist. Time is only to help us conceptualize events when they'll happen. But like again, like I said, like time is just, when it comes to my readings, I haven't mastered time, the timing part. So basically, the message I got um, was letting me know like someone's very upset and they are dealing with a lot of thoughts surrounding death of a family member. And I'm just like, and the cards were just letting me know like they're really sad, like they're very upset. And so I was thankful. I said thank you. And um, after that, I just felt like this inkling to play an affirmation. And me and my partner, we were watching this movie, and at the end of the movie, there were three lions. My partner loves lions. So all of a sudden, I just got this inkling to play like a nighttime affirmation surrounding the lion animal totem. And that's when I understood, oh, strength. I'm understanding that now. Strength. And then the three lions, the mother, the father, and the spirit, or the father, the son, and the spirit, whichever structure you follow. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Because after I put my tarot cards, and I just thanked my ancestors and spirit, my archangels, asked them to protect. I pre-listened to the affirmation because I wanted to listen to it with my partner. And I was like, yeah, this sounds pretty good. Like, this sounds pretty legit. So I waited for him to come out of the shower. And when he came out the shower, he was so upset. Well, he was so upset. And I automatically understood what those cards were telling me. And that's what I mean by, like, now I'm in this space in my life where discernment is so important, intuition is so important, connecting and understanding is so freaking important. And I've asked Spirit to help guide me through life, help me to understand what it is that I need to do, help me to show up for people in the ways that you need me to. And so just by showing up over the course of my life, and heavily in 2020, I'm now in this space where I can hear the promptings, and I can show up for myself, and I can show up for others. Not all the time do we have the right words to say, but sometimes giving someone an affirmation, giving someone a hug, and knowing when the appropriate time is to do that is like very fulfilling. And it really helps me to feel as though I am being a vessel of light and love to the people around me. So, and because this is something that I want to do, this is me showing up for myself, as well as showing up for others, as well as showing up for God. right? Which is probably also the symbolism of those three lions. Self, God, others. God, self, others. I would say God. I would say God because sometimes we don't even understand the magnitude and power that we have within ourselves. Sometimes we don't feel that confident or feel our magic once again. So that's why we gotta rely on God. I hate this door. Okay. Well, you guys, that's all I got to share today. Um, my MacBook is hot. I'm hot. So just remember to show up for yourself. Show up in the capacity that you can. Um, go out in nature. Get some vitamin D. Clear your mind so that you can focus on what it is that's important to you, what it is that you need to do. And yeah, I love you guys so freaking much. Dang, y'all can see everything. I can see my apartment. But anyways, I love you guys so freaking much. I am gonna take a little nap and start dinner and clean rest because for the rest of my life after this week, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a dream come true. So, um, again, I hope you guys learned something. I love you so much and peace.